Hi friends, in this video I'm gonna show you how you can start painting at home with oils even if you don't have good ventilation or a window in your studio. Hi, my name is Emilio and this is the guide on how to paint at home even with no windows. I just want to tell you a bit about me. I live in an apartment. During summer it's totally fine because I can open my window, the air comes in, the odors and all the smell of the old paint goes out, and I'm a happy person. But during winter it gets pretty dark, it gets pretty cold, and the only thing I don't want is to have the window open while I'm painting. That's the reason why I decided to find ways of how to safely paint at home, and I created this little guide so you can start painting at home with zero problems and no health problems at all. So I hope you enjoy this guide. Let's start with the number one thing. Basically, paints. Are they even safe? Can we use paints and have no problems? In general, most of the paints are pretty safe. They are made with oils and pigments. Basically, that's all about it. The problem comes with the minerals. If you ingest or inhale these minerals, they might be harmful for your body. So the main colors you have to avoid, basically the lead white. This one is actually really hard to find. Very few companies still make this paint because it is actually really harmful. So if you're gonna use this white and you still have it in your palette, try to avoid eating and try to avoid drinking while you are working in your paintings, because this can be actually really harmful. The cadmiums, and there's a lot of cadmiums. You can find red cadmium, yellow cadmium and orange cadmium. Now if you are using cadmiums, don't worry because it's not that bad. Unless you eat them in the long term, it might be really harmful, and if you inhale them. Most of the time we just go to the store, buy the paint tubes and that's it. But some people do their own paints, so they buy their pigment and they mix it with oil. That's a way you can inhale the powder. But if you are not doing your own paints, then don't worry about that. The other way you can inhale the cadmium is if you are sanding, if you are trying to get rid of paint in a paint or somewhere, then you know that little powder that comes out, that might be harmful and you can inhale it. But try to avoid doing that, and if you're gonna do that, do it outside and wear a mask and you're gonna be totally fine. Also, this is especially bad with big quantities. If you're doing it once, you're gonna be fine, like don't worry, you're not gonna die. Also, there's a flake white, you can also avoid that one. In case you have any doubt, you can go to the website of the brand that you buy and you can find there the toxicity of the paints that you bought. This is a very good way to understand what are you painting with, and that way you are going to be absolutely more comfortable if you know that there's no toxics or anything that is gonna harm you in the long term. Now let's talk about the solvents and the mediums. So these are actually the bad guys, especially if you have no ventilation at home. These actually expel a gas and fumes that are pretty harmful to your health. So if you can avoid them, try to avoid them. There are a lot of alternatives that you can use. I use linseed oil, which is 100% natural, and I also use lavender spike oil, which is a bit expensive to be honest, but I'd rather spend that money and feel totally fine while painting. If you are using solvents, we usually use a really small quantity and try to keep them in a container with a lid and try to use them as little as possible so it doesn't become a problem in the long term. Another tip that I want to give you is that if you're going to start painting at home, try to have an area for your painting. This is good for two reasons. First, if you have your own area for your painting, it is easier for you to even paint every day. That way you don't have to set up your easel and set up your equipment and everything, because it is going to be there always. It makes it easier to actually go and paint. And the other reason why it is good is because you don't want to paint where you eat, or you don't want to paint where you sleep or do other stuff. That way you will contaminate your areas and you will have to be more careful when you are eating or doing something there, because you might have paint around and you don't want to do that. And obviously after you finish painting, clean all your equipment. This is going to help you maintain a safety environment and a safety house. Now, what kind of ventilation do you need if you want to paint? Ideally, you want to have a big window and an area where you can have the air flowing, but for some people that is not feasible. That's why I would recommend you to get a filter or something that will help you with the odors. Remember that if you're working with non-toxic paints or non-toxic solvents, you're totally fine. Like there's no problem with you smelling or having the smell of the oils, but for some people it might be a bit annoying or not ideal. So if you can get an air purifier, that is gonna help you with the odors and with all the other things that go around the air. If you enjoy this channel and you find it helpful, well, subscribe to the channel. Let's grow this community and let's keep creating content about painting. And remember to just paint and be happy. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.